Fable has been heavily scrutinized ever since we got our first look at it, and that's not going to change anytime soon. We keep finding out that they are removing certain features and characters, that this is a modern day reimagining of Fable, and it doesn't sound to be all that faithful. But to top it off, we are now finding out that Playground Games is, not shockingly at all, filled to the brim with activists. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it is perfectly fine to have your own opinions on the world. If you can go to work and leave your personal politics at the door and actually create a fulfilling experience that fans want, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to have your own opinion, but the problem is that so many people working within entertainment and specifically the video game industry go into it with the mindset of they want to change the world and they want to push a certain viewpoint on you because they want you to be less of a terrible person, because if you are not with them, you are against them. And it seems that a lot of the people over at Fable are these activists. And well, they are having some of their posts made fun of on social media. We are finding out about their DEI policies, and when you know that this is Microsoft at the end of the day, it's really no shocker. Now, surprisingly, I had covered this, I believe it was about 2 months ago, that Microsoft was quietly walking back their diversity efforts. They were no longer going to be publishing such in-depth DEI reports anymore. It seemed that they were trying to face a little bit of less backlash and they didn't want as much scrutiny under the Trump admin. But ultimately, we knew that a company like Microsoft wasn't going to just magically get rid of these programs, because when the admin changes again in a couple of years, they're going to probably want them to be able to just flip a switch and turn on again. But yeah, Microsoft is definitely one of the companies that has pushed this very heavily, and there are quite a lot of posts being made about Playground Games and about Microsoft and about the team behind Fable. And even looking at Fable, you could tell that this was a game made for the modern audience. It doesn't have the charm or really the aesthetics of Fable anymore. It seemed too close to something like Avowed, where they wanted it to have, modern day graphics and all these modern storytelling elements and this modern cast of characters, but they just wanted to use the name Fable because they knew a couple more people would buy a Fable game instead of a brand new series. Look at what happened with Avowed. If that had, I don't know, Elder Scrolls slapped on it, right? Way more people would have bought it, but it still wouldn't have been Elder Scrolls. And in this case, if you typed, I don't know, generic fantasy game 172 as the title instead of Fable, less people would buy it. So it says Playground Games, the developers behind the Fable reboot, place diversity, equity, and inclusion at the heart of their culture under the principle everyone belongs. They view diverse backgrounds is essential to driving creativity and innovation. I say this all the time. It should not matter what your gender is, what your culture is, what your skin tone is. You should be able to get a job if you are the best person for the job. An issue that we see, though, is that companies have these checklists, whether it is for people they are hiring or people they are representing in products, and you have to go down those checklists and you have to tick off as many boxes as possible, or else you are going to get your studio shut down. You're not going to get more projects in the future, and you're going to upset your superiors. And well, the best people for the job are often not getting hired to do the job. It's just the best person that fits their diversity quota. It says the studio supports 4 employee-led employee resource groups: Women at PG, Pride at PG for LGBTQ plus employees, people of color at PG, and Mind at PG. Inside the company, efforts include running inclusive recruitment and leadership training, redesigning the studio for better accessibility, and offering benefits like healthcare and trans-inclusive coverage. And female representation has increased from 8 employees to over 100, and the studio consistently scores above 90% on inclusive culture surveys. And inclusive culture surveys don't matter if your studio gets shut down in 2 years because your title comes out and it fucking fails. Do you guys not remember what happened with Lionhead? It was mismanaged, Microsoft shut him down, and now you guys at Playground Games are the ones that are dealing with Fable. But you're going to be next on the chopping block if you don't actually, I don't know, do a good job. But it's not just an overall company culture that is the problem, it is also the people they are hiring. This post has been getting quite a bit of traction on social media over the past day. It has to do with the account named Willow Rose Dawn. As you can see, they've got a whole lot of flags in their name, which, by the way, their posts are now protected. But they are a level designer too at Playground Games Trans Femme. She, her, they, them, secretly a deer. It's really bringing me back to the Twitch moderation team, the Safety Advisory Council, where you had one of the moderators LARPing as a deer eating grass on a live stream and having somebody scratch behind their ears. Definitely a wild timeline we are living in. But you now have this, their social media history, which this is just one of the many people that are working on Fable. I'm sure that there are dozens of people who agree with the sentiment, who would share the same type of posts, but they had said a couple of months ago, to be honest, this just makes me want to make more aggressively queer games. Fuck the hate. I don't do this for you. I do this for 15-year-old me, who thought they would never make games or be the woman they knew they were. So anytime people push back against forced diversity within the video game industry or entertainment in general, when it's not done naturally by developers and it is done to push a specific agenda, these people say they are going to double, triple, and quadruple down, and they are going to make even more aggressively queer games, which clearly isn't working out for them. So many people have rejected modern audience titles like Concord, like Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, like Dustborn, like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I could go on and on all day about these types of games that have failed, but they're not selling. And so you need to clearly realize people don't give a fuck about you pushing your identity onto characters. People don't want you pushing your politics into games. We are playing games as a form of escapism. We want to have fun and be entertained. And every single time you make statements like this, you are making it so 10 less people buy your game, 20, 30, 40. I mean, some of these posts get hundreds of thousands of views, and there are tons of people who say, enough is enough, I'm not going to support them. You are making your game even more controversial than it needs to be. If you genuinely think that Fable is a good game, don't make controversial statements like this, because you are just pushing potential customers away. Allow it to speak for itself. Allow the marketing team to do their job, and stop sitting here and actually bringing more controversy to it. Now, I don't really think we should expect these people to change. Even a video like mine will embolden them to be louder, but, well, I mean, they can do what they want, they can post what they want, and I'm allowed to make a video in response the way that I want. The response to Willow here has been, he forgets that the games industry is entirely about making money, and the best way to make money is to make games for players. It looks like it has potential, but definitely going to have body type 1, 2, or A, B pronouns and 1,000 characters based on their own crap personalities. People are saying things like they, her, secretly a deer, opinions are my own. It doesn't add up. It's also tiresome. Well, shit, this is gonna be DOA. And in response to the studio culture, the company culture, people are saying things like, I appreciate their efforts to help me save money for other better games. I'm keeping my money. Anyone who watched the teaser could already tell. Here we go again. It's tiresome. My face when I read that statement's like, really? So woke, DEI hires, nothing about skill or merit. Games have been DOA for years, non binary, etc., etc. Diversity means too many cooks in the kitchen and not strength. That is why Hollywood, Ubisoft, and so on produced so many flops recently, and anime and manga still flourish. In Japan, they have more hegemonic teams and focus on their core business and not activism. There's images of cringe faces all around, and they never learn. And oh man, cut the cameras. This isn't funny anymore. So, yeah, I am certain there's even more people like Willow on the development team, and so many more people who I'm sure are going to be even louder on social media because, well, their game isn't being received extremely positively. And like I always say, if you think this game looks good, I'm happy. I hope you get your money's worth when you eventually buy it. If you are 2 out of the 5 modern audience members who actually support the products you preach about online, and I hope that you have a great and splendid time. But clearly, a lot of gamers are voicing how unamused they are by this title so far, and it looks like things are going pretty poorly for Playground Games. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.